In this video, we'll be looking at section 3.5, some extra examples. So the first example I want to look at is adding and subtracting. So we'll go 3 plus 2i minus 5 minus 6i, and then we can try 4 minus 3i plus 7 plus 8i. So if you want, you can pause right here and try these on your own, and then check your work against mine, or just follow along. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do on number 1 is we are going to distribute that minus sign in the middle. So this minus sign right here in the middle, we'll distribute that. So I'll have 3 plus 2i minus 5, and then minus and minus becomes plus 6i. Now we just combine like terms. 3 minus 5 is negative 2, and then 2i plus 6i is plus 8i. So anytime there's a minus in the middle, we'll distribute that, and then we're just combining like terms. So here's number 2. Again, feel free to pause right here and try it on your own. So since they have a plus sign in the middle, there's no need to distribute a negative. So everything's going to stay the same. So we can just drop our parentheses. So I have 4 minus 3i plus 7 plus 8i. Now I'm just combining like terms. 4 plus 7 is 11. And then negative 3i plus 8i will be a positive 5i. And we're done. Okay. Let's look at an example with some multiplication. So if I have something along these lines, I can take the 2y and I distribute it. So the way we'll distribute is by taking this 2i and multiplying it by both terms in the inside of our parentheses. So 2y times 4 would be 8i. And then 2y times negative 6i, well, 2 times negative 6 would be negative 12. And then I times I would be I squared. So now I have 8i minus 12. Well, I squared becomes negative 1, like so. So we have 8i, negative 12 times negative 1 is a positive 12. And then we'll just write it with the real part in front, like so. So 12 plus 8i. Just switching the order, so my real part's first, and then my imaginary part is second. Okay, let's look at another, a little more difficult multiplying one. So let's say we have 3 plus 2i times 5 minus 6i. So we're just going to use the distributive property. This is where we go rainbow crazy. So we'll go 3 times 5 is 15. Then 3 times negative 6i is negative 18i. So I just did this 3 times both terms in my second group. So 3 times 5, and then 3 times negative 6i. Now we'll do the 2i. So 2i times 5 would be a positive 10i. And then 2i times negative 6 would be negative 12. I times I is I squared. So I have 15. Combining like terms, negative 18i plus 10i would be a negative 8i. And then we'll have minus 12, and then the I squared becomes negative 1. So we'll do some simplifying. So I'm going to have 15 minus 8i. I'm just bringing these down. So now I'm going to multiply. Negative 12 times negative 1 is positive 12. Combine my like terms, and we get 27 minus 8i. Okay. Let's do a couple more examples. Number 5. So we're going to reach back into our solving just to practice some more solving. So number 5, we want, let's say we're looking at 4 times 2x plus 3 squared plus 8 equals 0. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is isolate the squares. We're trying to get this piece right here by itself. Trying to get this all by itself. So what I'm going to do first is subtract 8 from both sides. So now I have 4 times 2x plus 3 squared equals negative 8. So I'm trying to get this that I boxed in blue, I'm trying to get that by itself. So we'll subtract 8, and now we'll divide both sides by 4. So now I have 2x plus 3 squared equals negative 2. Okay, so we got the square isolated. We've isolated the square. This is where we take the square root of both sides. So the square root gets rid of the square. So I'll have 2x plus 3 equals. And now that I took the square root of both sides, that's where my plus or minus symbol pops up. Square root of negative 2. Now I want to simplify this square root with the negative. So I'm just going to say 2x plus 3 equals plus or minus I. That's my negative. The negative pops out and becomes I. Square root of 2. Now we just solve for x, and we will be done. So we'll subtract 3 from both sides. So now I have 2x equals negative 3 plus or minus I root 2. Divide by 2, and we get x equals negative 3 plus or minus I root 2 all over 2. Okay, so to recap, first we isolated the square, subtract 8 from both sides. And then we're still isolating the square, so we got to divide both sides by 4. Now that the square was isolated, this is where we take the square root of both sides. So the exponent 2 disappears. And then on my right-hand side, the plus or minus symbol pops out. Now I have a negative underneath my square root, so that negative becomes our I. And I have 2x plus 3 equals plus or minus I root 2. Now I'm trying to solve for x, so we're going to get x by itself. So we'll subtract 3 from both sides. I can't combine these are not like terms, so my negative 3 comes out front. My plus or minus I root 2 follows it. And now I got to get x by itself, so I'll divide both sides by 2. That's what we did right here, dividing by 2. And then we get our solution. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully these extra examples are helpful to you. And if you need any help, please just reach out to me, set up a time, and we can email and communicate. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day.